The decorations are up along Main Street, and most businesses are fully decorated. Everything's working again this year. What am I missing, Carol?
Don't forget we need the fire engine downtown before 4:30. Santa will need some highly visible transportation, Laura.
The volunteer fire department's got that covered.
Awesome.
Is Paul Russell playing the part this year?
Well, you know Paul. He'd be offended if we didn't ask.
Well, he has played the part of Santa for more than 20 years.
And that was even before the parade.
Oh, Carol, this year's Christmas is going to be the best yet. And it's all because of you.
Oh, stop it. You're embarrassing me. Hey, I'll see you later this afternoon, Laura.
See you then.
Welcome to a little town tucked away in the corner of somewhere. It's a place known as Bennington Falls. Carol Kelly is not a native of the town, but she's everyone's friend. Carol found a home here, and it all started a few years ago when she brought new life to Christmas tradition. It seemed like a one-woman transformation of the town. That's right. It was all peppermint sticks, hot cocoa, over-the-top decorations, and seasonal contests after she arrived. No one meant to drop the twinkle and spark, but as those who had once led the seasonal charge retired, so did the tradition. That is, until Carol arrived. She only endured one Christmas where halls refused to be decked. That's when Carol began plotting a comeback of epic proportions. She had succeeded marvelously. Maybe it was just too much work for others. Or perhaps someone refused to carry the torch just one more year. Carol would do the work, expend the sweat equity, and she would single-handedly bring Christmas kicking and screaming back to town. Even Pine Cone Lane saw a resurgence in visitors. A trip through the snow in search of a perfect tree seemed to take on more importance. In fact, the town square had one of the Christmas tree farm's crown jewels bedecked with holiday bedazzlement. The Deckers sent their much-loved lighted Rudolph display and several plastic candy canes for the town tree. Others offered bits and pieces of their family collections to help the restoration of Christmas in the small town. The Bennington Falls Town Council agreed to allow Carol to try to put something together 3 years earlier. But no municipal funds were to be spent on the festivities, although they did offer to allow the town's 2 police officers to provide traffic control for the Christmas parade. Carla's Diner offered free coffee and a place to warm up during the parade. Carla had been working all afternoon creating a variety of pastries for sale during the event.
Appreciate it, Carla.
Businesses downtown had come together to provide candy canes for the children and oranges and nuts for patrons who visited stores after the parade. Many remembered the fruit and nuts fondly. Others, well, they had no idea.
What am I missing? Let's see. First Church on First Avenue will be singing carols to lead the parade, followed by a snowman float with the children of Spencer's Daycare.
And don't forget, our crew will be on hand broadcasting live from our float. Just look for the antique radio playing all the holiday favorites. The Bennington Falls Christmas Parade is here. All it needs is you. Stick around. On the way, it's a sad day when the Jolly Elf is involved in a hit and run with Grandma. Come on. It's a hit, and some people sort of like it.
The timing of that announcement was uncanny. The radio station is third on my list, followed by floats from a few businesses and a civic organization. Then the town's oldest fire engine will bring Santa through town. Let the ho-ho-hos commence.
A sleigh had been set up so that when the parade was finished, the children could go and visit Santa and tell him what they wanted for Christmas. It made a great photo op. Some children lied and told the jolly elf they really had been good. Santa seemed very understanding with their lapse of memory. Parents knew the truth, but even they were feeling merciful this year. The town's shop seemed to be doing brisk business. The season was off on the right foot. Or just off. Carol wasn't sure things felt right this year. She wasn't sure why. Sure, people were enjoying the festivities.
What's wrong? There's coffee and home-baked goods. Business owners are happy. Kids are smiling. Santa's jolly.
Great parade, Carol.
Thanks.
You know, it was even better than last year's.
Hey, so glad you came out tonight. Why does this feel like a letdown?
Carol opened up the door to her apartment. She lived above Shumway's Five and Dime, more of a dollar store these days. She had rented the apartment 6 years before when she moved to Bennington Falls. From these upper-story windows, Carol had a perfect view of Bennington's winter wonderland, and it was especially beautiful this year. As she gazed over the scene below, Santa, still held children on his lap and chortled out a joyous, "Ho, ho, ho!" Dozens of shoppers left the town shops with cheeks that sparkled with a rosy glow as reminders of breathing were left dangling in midair. It had been a good parade, hadn't it? Carol watched with an equal mix of smiles and tears as the people loaded their wares and ventured the snowy roads home. She was left alone with memories. The whole thing seemed a bit like a music box slowing to an inglorious stop. She heard the muffled crunching of snow as Santa made his way to a four-wheel drive pickup and headed home. The streets were soon reclaimed by falling snow, erasing any visible reminder of the all-too-quickly forgotten parade.
Why do I feel such compulsion to make the parade such a success each year? It doesn't get any easier. It's not like I'm ungrateful, but so much hard work is gone, and this will all be forgotten tomorrow. I thought the Christmas spirit was supposed to last longer.
Carol sat at her laptop, still looking over the snow-covered streets and the Christmas lights that were starting to blink off. They were on a timer, you know. She sighed. Then she typed out a summary of this year's parade for the town council. Like most people who fall asleep working on something, Carol was unaware of the exact moment she had begun to doze, but her computer brought her back. Carol was startled by the sound, rubbed her eyes, and then clicked a few icons and began reading her latest email.
Carol, it's no secret that you love Christmas. It's nice that you've worked so hard bringing an old-fashioned Christmas to your new town. You may not remember me, but I worked with you several years ago at Niederhofer's in Hubbard. You were in marketing, and I was in retail. Anyway, I could tell that the big city wasn't for you, so I guess it didn't surprise me when you left, especially after what happened to Mike and Sarah.
The last two names caused Carol to come face to face with memories she had tried to hide.
I wanted to give you 3 gifts this Christmas. Expect the first to arrive shortly. All the best, Marilyn.
In the silence, Carol stared at her computer screen. Of course she remembered Marilyn, but she hadn't thought about her in a long time. Why did she have to bring up Mike and Sarah? Old wounds that she thought had healed, or were at least hidden from view, now ripped open with just a few words from a friend she hadn't thought of in a very long time. She considered an old-fashioned crying jag, but the ringing doorbell caused her to reverse course. Carol wiped her eyes and walked down the stairs to the ground floor entrance. She looked through the peephole in the door, but didn't recognize the man standing in the snow.
Who is it?
My name's Gabe. I think you know our mutual friend, Marilyn?
It's a little late, don't you think?
Oh, I hope not.
Could you come back tomorrow?
I'm afraid the gifts would be no good tomorrow, Carol. They have an expiration date.
Well, if it's food, I probably can't eat it tonight anyway. I mean, if it's going to expire.
Good news, not food. Are you there, Carol?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
However, when Carol opened the door, she was no longer on Main Street, Bennington Falls.
I'm finished with my supper, Dad.
Sarah.
I'll be right there, Sarah.
Sarah, sweetie.
Carol found herself in the dining room of the home she had shared with her husband Mike and her daughter Sarah. She ran to her daughter and reached out to hug her, but her arms wrapped around nothing but air. She tried talking to Sarah and found herself frustrated and scared when both efforts proved pointless.
Don't be afraid, Carol. This is your first gift.
You call this a gift? I see my daughter, but I can't hold her. I hear my husband, but I can't talk to him. Do they even know I'm here?
No.
How can you call this a gift?
Carol, I am simply a messenger sent to show you Christmas past.
What if I don't want this gift, this memory? At least not now.
Sarah, it's time to go to the Christmas program at church.
But where's Mom?
She's probably just running late, sweetie.
That was the night
You never intended to join Mike and Sarah at church, did you?
never made any promises.
Carol?
Mom?
Don't forget your paper route. You have a lot of neighbors depending on you.
But it's Christmas morning. There's no paper to deliver today. Mommy, I thought Santa might come this year, I've been good. Real good. He's supposed to come for good boys and girls. The song says so.
Christmas is just a day set aside for people to waste a lot of money buying presents and decorations they can't afford to impress people that don't really mean very much to them in the first place. Besides, your daddy is working 2 jobs just to keep a roof over our heads. Christmas is only for those people who can afford it, dear.
Yes, Mommy.
It's best you understand this now. It will make things easier when you grow up.
I'll try, Mama.
I didn't need to see that. I didn't want to see that, Gabe.
Someday you'll understand.
Someday you'll understand, sweetheart.
Carol heard singing and looked up. Now she was in the back of the church she had refused to attend. She watched for the first time as her daughter played the part of an angel.
Beautiful, wherever you find this great joy, which shall be to all people.
Carol found herself on a hillside, stars shining brightly. And Gabe, at least she thought it was him, seemed to be floating in midair, completing the thought begun by her daughter.
This day, in the city of David, a Savior...
To be sure, there was more to the pronouncement, but Carol was suddenly aware that there were others, both with her and with Gabe. Bearded men stared into the sky in awe as others, like Gabe, proclaimed a most unusual birth in even more disturbing conditions. Just as suddenly as the pronouncement was made, Carol found herself standing with the sheep herders watching a young mother caring for a crying infant in a small barn.
Wait. Hold on. What is this all about?
This is about Christmas. You do love Christmas, don't you?
This is some kind of dream, and you're a pretty believable ghost. Okay, come on, Carol. Wake up! Wake up already!
Can you be sure it's a dream?
Complete darkness descended on Carol as a figure on a hill captured her attention. She recognized the cross. Her grandmother, Eloise, had told her the stories before. The man hung there with his arms stretched wide, and marks of inhumane punishment covered his body.
Why am I here?
This is the child you saw with the shepherds.
What?
He is grown up.
He must have made some bad decisions.
No, but you did.
Come on, Gabe. I've tried to make good choices all my life.
He's here for you, Carol.
But what did I do?
God gave rules for all mankind to live by, and every person who has ever lived has failed to follow every rule. So a baby became a man, and he made things right.
By dying?
Yes.
Well, I didn't ask him to.
No one starts off believing they need his help.
I don't need you to do this. Are you listening to me? You don't have to do this for me.
Father, forgive them. They don't know what they are doing.
Carol thought that perhaps it was the fatigue of putting the parade together and the memory of the loss of her husband and daughter to a drunk driver a few years before that brought up the strange dream. She sat in the darkness and remembered the gentle touch of her daughter in the early morning as Sarah tried to tenderly wake her mother, the masculine chuckle of a husband who didn't mind getting up with their little girl so early in the day. Carol would give anything to have them both here.
They actually had the true spirit of Christmas. Care for some tea?
Don't you know how to knock? I could have had a heart attack or something.
I'm sorry. I thought you knew I was here.
I thought I was dreaming. I half convinced myself you were a figment of my imagination. I wish you were.
Do you have any questions?
Who or what are you?
I thought you were going to ask something difficult.
Well?
I'm simply a messenger. No more, no less.
Okay. I've seen delivery guys before, and you're more than a sign on the dotted line kind of guy.
Well, maybe that's because I know what it is I'm delivering, and I've agreed to make sure you have the best chance to make the most of the new gifts you will be given tonight.
So there's more?
There is.
Oh, great. What can I expect now? Are you gonna, torture me by showing me people who've hurt me before?
Torture was never part of the plan. These gifts are designed to help you see what is missing in your life.
Missing? Are you kidding me? That would be my husband and my daughter.
But there's always been more, Carol.
I'm not sure what I'm supposed to learn. I mean, my parents could never afford Christmas presents, and Mom thought the decorations were a waste of time. It got to the point where Christmas became a non-event. You saw it. You heard. Christmas was not important to my family. Okay, so I grew up, got married, had a child, all the stuff I dreamed of as a kid, right? Since I never had Christmas as a child, I never made Christmas a priority with my own daughter, Sarah. I mean, Mike would try to decorate the house a bit, and he made sure that Sarah made it to Christmas programs, but I just...
kept your distance.
I guess I did.
Yet today, you were called Christmas Carol. What changed your mind?
Mike and Sarah. The two most important people in my life were heading home from yet another Christmas program that I refused to attend. They, were in an accident. It's not fair. They were innocent. And one stupid man who decides it's okay to drive home drunk is able to take their lives without so much as an apology. They were everything to me. Everything. I guess I finally decided that it was important to celebrate Christmas. I had to remember my husband. I had to remember Sarah. I do all this for them.
Then you never really understood Mike and Sarah.
What did you just... I loved them very much. Now I spend countless hours making sure Christmas comes to Bennington Falls each year. What I am doing is keeping their memory alive.
But you're not.
I think you should leave.
I can tell you truthfully, Carol, you are remembering the wrong thing. And despite what you may think, you do not bring Christmas to Bennington Falls.
All right, I don't know who you think you are, but you better tell me what you're getting at, because I'm about to lose it.
Think back, Carol. Did your husband ever go all out in decorating your home?
No.
Was Sarah ever strongly demanding when it came to her Christmas gifts?
Never Sarah.
Look, I think it's time you received your second gift. Please, just walk through here.
But it's a closet.
True, but sometimes what we see is not always what's real.
Just walk through the closet.
That's right.
The hall closet somehow led to the living room of the Deckers, a family living in Bennington Falls. They were in the midst of decorating the inside of their home.
I can't believe you didn't get those icicle lights like I told you to, Charlie.
Well, Doris, if you didn't have to decorate every corner of the house, maybe we could afford Christmas presents. Oh, really, Doris, when is enough enough?
You were the one who gave our Rudolph display to Carol Kelly. That's been in our family since the kids were little.
Well, yes, but they're grown and they're all gone. Why do we keep doing this every year? Who are you trying to impress?
Apparently no one, Charlie. No one would be impressed with this.
They'll count me as one of the unimpressed, Doris.
Well, you put this stuff up.
The couple continued to argue as Gabe led Carol back through her closet door. But instead of coming back into her living room, she found herself in a small, sparsely furnished room.
Where are we?
This is the Jensen home. 5 children, and,
Very little money. Yeah, I'm familiar with how that works.
I want you to watch how they interact as a family.
A young girl, Stephanie Jensen, came into the room looking at a star she had created out of construction paper, glue, and glitter.
Tommy, look what I made.
That's nice, Steph. Look at mine.
What do you see, Carol?
A manger where the baby was born.
That's right.
But this one... it's made from an abandoned bird's nest.
What are you doing tonight?
Laura and Alvy made the angel and the stable, and Peter is making Joseph, Mary, and baby Jesus.
These are gifts. It's for you.
Oh, I love it. It's just perfect.
And we get to tell the story about Jesus, don't we?
That's the best part.
Carol had watched all of this quietly and made no reply until she found herself back in her living room with Gabe by her side.
So what am I supposed to learn from that?
Did you notice a difference between the two families?
Sure. The Deckers are rude, and the Jensens have well-mannered kids. What is that supposed to prove?
You have received your first and second gift, a look at Christmas past and Christmas present, and yet there is more to learn. You are being offered a gift, but you refuse to recognize it.
Ooh, Ooh, so what other little surprises are in store?
Carol turned around to look at the messenger, but Gabe was nowhere to be seen. Carol had taken care of all of the routine bedtime formalities and had fallen into a deep sleep. It took some time for the sound to register in her mind, but she began to hear a faint crunching sound in the whine of winter wind.
Someone must be walking by on the street down below.
Then Carol noticed that her cheeks were stinging and that she was very cold. Opening her eyes, Carol discovered that her bed had been relocated to the local cemetery. A full moon shone brightly on the freshly fallen snow. She then noticed a note on the nightstand beside the bed. The moonlight was bright enough that the letter was not overly difficult to read.
Carol, this third gift is something that you must accept or reject for yourself. You are in the midst of Christmas future. There is much to be learned, and I can't make you take the gift. You can either embrace it because you desire it above all, or refuse the gift because you completely reject it. The choice is yours. Gabe.
Okay, I've made a decision. I reject the gift. In case you haven't noticed, I'm in my bed in the middle of a cemetery. Please take me home. I want to go home. I really want to go home. Hello? Gabe?
Carol turned to her right and noticed a new headstone and a fresh mound of dirt. Someone had recently been buried here, but she wasn't about to get out of her bed to see who it was. She needn't have worried, for a gust of wind from the northwest removed the snow from the stone. Her breath caught in her throat as she read, Carol Eileen Kelly, beloved friend of Christmas. Carol had known intellectually that we all die, but to see it in such vivid detail and on such a personal level caused her mind to go numb. She hid her eyes behind her hands and closed her lids tight, trying to hide the ugly granite image from her mind. As she did so, she felt a warmth seep deep within. So surprising was the change in temperature, she opened her eyes and found that she was back in her apartment. A much older set of friends were visiting with an attorney in the living room.
It's a shame, Carla.
Oh, Laura. Carol was such a wonderful person to have around at Christmas time.
Did she have any next of kin?
You're an attorney. I thought you would know.
I'm afraid our search netted no real results.
She didn't talk about family.
Well, her will indicates that her entire estate is to be sold, and the proceeds are to go toward purchasing new Christmas decorations for downtown Bennington Falls.
That sounds just like Carol.
Well, at least my life counted for something.
Mom?
Sarah?
Carol ran and embraced her daughter, weeping and kissing Sarah's hair. She then turned her daughter's face to hers and asked,
You can hear me.
Of course, Mommy. Why wouldn't I hear you?
Oh, baby, I've missed you so much.
I've missed you too.
Sarah. Hey, what's wrong, honey?
Why couldn't you see what Christmas was supposed to be? Why? Why was it so hard for you?
But I did, sweetie. I did. I learned my lesson. I spent life making sure that others enjoy Christmas. I know I didn't participate in our Christmases together, but now I want to do the right thing. You and Daddy enjoyed Christmas so much, but now I have no choice. I have to make Christmas the most important thing in my life.
Then why don't you?
Mike, is that you?
Carol, we have watched. hoping that you would understand that Christmas was more than lights and trees.
I don't know what more I could have done.
What about Jesus, Mom?
Jesus?
Carol, the decorations never mattered. The lights, the gifts, the pageantry, they were never the most important part of Christmas.
Come on, Mike. The birth of a baby in Israel several hundred years ago doesn't really mean much to people today. It's all right if you want to add it to your celebration, but it's only one of many Christmas stories.
It suddenly occurred to Carol that she had simply picked up where she left off with her husband. They had always argued about religion.
Is it possible that he is exactly who he said he was?
I know you are struggling with what you think you know, Carol. You've been given a gift. Accept it. What about Jesus?
What will you do about Jesus, Mommy?
What about Jesus?
What will you do about Jesus,
What about
Mommy?
Jesus?
What about him?
Just as suddenly as the visit had begun, it was over. Completely.
What will you do about Jesus, Mom? What will you do? What will you do? What will you do? What will you do?
A familiar darkness descended over Carol as her daughter's words lingered long after she was lost from view. Morning sunshine pierced through Carol's bedroom window. At first, it only caused mild irritation. She swatted at the offending light until she finally opened her eyes. A brilliant blue greeted her as she looked out on the street below. Perhaps she had only been dreaming the night before. But the walls that had been built up over the years were crumbling, and Carol had a question to answer. She ran to the window and threw it open. Carol spotted Stephanie Jensen and called out,
Good morning, young lady.
Miss Kelly.
Please call me Carol. What day is it?
Sunday.
Are you going to church this morning?
Sure.
Well, can you tell me what time service starts?
In about an hour.
Would you mind if I join you and your family?
You're always welcome in church.
That's good news, Stephanie. I'll meet you there.
Okay.
Carol was as nervous as she had been in years. The last time she had been in church was when she was 9 years old. She had gone with her grandma and heard stories about Jesus in Sunday school. Her parents didn't have much use for religion, and so she had never returned. She sat with the Jensens and survived the bold stares of people she had come to know in Bennington Falls. It was obvious they were more than a little surprised to see her there. The Jensen children were part of a Sunday school presentation of the Nativity. It was very familiar to Carol. Then Pastor Williams stood to speak, and Carol listened, really listened. Perhaps the thing that stayed with Carol the most was when the pastor said,
Why do we celebrate Christmas? God sent a gift that would be given to mankind, but mankind would need to make a choice about whether they would accept that gift or not.
That's what Gabe had been saying. Carol had been given a gift. It was Christmas, and she was ready to accept. Carol drew a sharp breath. Things were beginning to make sense. Others turned and looked at her, and although she blushed several shades of crimson, she continued to listen closely to the pastor.
I know of no better gift this Christmas than to accept what Jesus did for you, and I can think of no better time to accept that gift than right now.
Perhaps what she had experienced the night before was a dream. Perhaps it was real. All Carol knew for sure was that she had finally come to see the real meaning of Christmas, and she finally accepted the gift that had been offered to her when she had only been looking at the lights and the trees. In the years that followed, Carol's passion for Christmas continued, but the object of her attention had changed. For Carol, Christmas became a gift for every day, and not just an event confined to a few weeks at the end of each year. Carol Kelly would always be known as Christmas Carol, but in the end, it could truthfully be said, she kept Christmas well because she finally knew what Christmas was, and it made all the difference in her world.
Merry Christmas.
This is story creator Glenn Haskell. Now, this story was written more than 20 years ago as a 5-chapter short Christmas story. It would be easy to understand that it began as a love for Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. The setting, for me anyway, has always been my hometown. Like many towns, it thrives on a downtown Christmas parade each year. You can feel free to think of it as any town that you know that does the same. In the spring of 2023, I made the decision to find this story in my digital files, update certain aspects of the tale, recast it in some ways, adapt it to audio drama, and then I invited cast members one by one to join the audio drama, some very early and some very late. I wrote the story, I produced the story, and when I was done with this story, with all the mixing, all the moving of lines and effects, I listened back and frankly found myself a bit more emotional than I had anticipated with the end result. Now, maybe it's because this is a story that I've carried with me for so long. Maybe the voice actors brought more life to the tale than I imagined. But I wrap this project up with gratitude to the following for showing up and then bringing life with them. Here's the cast. Our lead actors included Bethany Baldwin as Carol, Jonathan Cook as Gabe. Supporting actors included Josh Sensen, Dominic Treese, Katie Daynard, Randy Strew, Natalie Stanfield, John Daynard, Elliot Fisher, Rebecca Bradford, Frank Yulee, Peter Pizzari, Aaron Bamer, Audra Kane, Alicia Henson, Chloe Daynard, Mia Sanders, and Lana Sanders. And doing some very heavy lifting as narrator, Josh Sanders. This audio drama was written, produced, and mixed by Glenn Haskell for First Acts Productions. Copyright 2023 Glenn Haskell. All rights reserved.